Hey, it's Jeff. I picked up this beautiful mint condition 2003 Kawasaki ZRX, 2,350 original miles. And of course, the owner said, oh, it runs fine and whatnot. I had it shipped here and it didn't run fine. So this is a lesson to you to never give up. So I went through, I changed the plugs. It's been running on 2 cylinders. Went through and changed the plugs. Didn't do anything. Cleaned the carburetors. Didn't find much junk in the carburetors. Put it all back together. Same problem. 2 cylinders were not firing. And just a little tip for all you non-engine people. If you have a motorcycle and it's running, all 4 of the pipes should be hot. Well, the 2 closest ones to me right now were cool when it was running, which means those 2 cylinders aren't firing. And if you look at how the bike sits on its side stand, think of it sitting for a long time. The fuel is going to have a tendency to gum up the carburetors on these 2 sides just because of gravity and how it is sitting. But here's the interesting part, and I just kept at this. What I found was the float. So the way this works, these carbs are upside down. So think of when they're right side up. The way that a float works is a float goes like this, and when it fills up with gas, it goes up, and then it closes off. This little tiny needle, or little tiny pilot valve. As the float goes up, this pushes down inside of here and closes off the fuel supply. So I was sitting, I was defeated tonight. I put the carbs back together and I was going to ship them out and have them cleaned through. And I started thinking about it. The motor's getting spark, but it's just not firing. It's got to be a fuel supply issue. And one thing I didn't check was these pilots, which is, this is very, very important because this is what supplies the fuel to the carburetor for the engine to make spark and power and everything else it's supposed to be. So what I found, I came back out here. I couldn't stop thinking about it because I'm a frickin' neurotic. Took these carbs apart, and here's what I found. So this one I cleaned out. You can see in there. But look inside of this one. Let me get my handy dandy flashlight. Look inside of there. See that? Wait a minute. See that black? Hold on. Right there. See that black stuff inside of there? That is sediment. And guess what 2 carbs it's on? It's on the 2 carbs that would be on the left side of the bike where all the sediment would build up. So what I did was I cleaned those, and you can even see, let me see if I cleaned both of these. So here's when I cleaned. I had to sand the edges because what happened was it was kind of ground in and made it stick. These should come right out when you go to pull them out. They should pop right out. But these 2, they were stuck in there, meaning stuck closed, meaning no fuel. So here's what one looks like before I clean it, and you can see the edges. Let me see. See that on the little edges right there? That's ground in dirt. That's stuff that's keeping it from going up and down like it's supposed to. So they were stuck closed, weren't letting any fuel into the motor. So I'm hoping if I just sand these, focus, I'm hoping if I just sand them down, we should be good to go. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to clean out the junk that's inside of there, bolt it all back together. Hopefully my next video right after this will be a success, a win. All right. So there's your answer. Yes, a win. Put it all back together last night. Runs perfectly. And I'm very happy. I'm very sore because I stayed up until 2 a.m. doing everything. But that was it. It was stuck. I called them pilots in my earlier video. I meant they are stuck float needles is the actual terminology for them. Stuck float needles. So that's what the issue is. So it just shows you if you just stay with something, and believe me, a couple of times I was just like, screw it, I'll just send the carbs out, have them all gone through. But that would have been $200, and it would have been nearly 2 weeks without the carbs, and the bike just sitting. So I'm very happy I won that battle. All right.